Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do my best to try and bring the same energy that Mitch does for live trading. We are without Mitch today, but don't worry, Ryan's here, and Ryan brought along a special guest. We are going to go through the market like we always do, live trading with Benzinga right now. By the way, I don't have our intro, so enjoy this commercial for Benzinga Pro.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? That's right. News headlines have a unique ability to drive stock prices up or down. These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. And if you're looking to grow your portfolio, it doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. An easy-to-read stream of news headlines will increase your opportunities to profit from price changes in the stock market, consolidate a knowledge-based investment strategy, and grow your portfolio. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring to make a positive change in your trading performance. We've already helped thousands of retail traders across the world, and they could not be happier. Increase your market knowledge, boost your exposure to big movers, and make informed trades before major price changes. The opportunities are all around you. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
All right, folks. Busy bee trading. Nice transition there. Blasted my headphones. I was out here. I was like, we're going to make sure that he's awake today. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this. This is what you get when Mitch is gone. So anyway, Mitch not here today. He's fine. He will be back. But Ryan here holding down the fort. And I do have a special guest. You all know him. A friend of Benzinga. Let me go ahead and bring him to the stream here. It is, of course, Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades. Andy, how you doing this morning?
What's up, Ryan? Great to be here. Thanks so much for bringing me on. I'm excited to, be here. And Mitch definitely brings the energy every single day.
I know. He sets a high bar for us without a doubt. Andy, I just want to formally thank you. Such late notice. You're always willing to help us out here and jump on. I love it. I love it for our show. I love when we have banter. I love that I'm not just talking to myself. I love that we're going to be able to share thoughts, ideas, lessons, things of that nature. So really cannot thank you enough for jumping on here this morning. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, Zoltan, surprise, Zoltan, surprise. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the stocks that I have on watch here today. Let me stop my notifications. I'm going to get blown up. By the way, Zoltan is saying hi individually, reaching out to me to make sure that I say hi to you. Absolutely got it. All right, so let me go ahead and turn off my notifications. I'm going to run through the SPY here. I'm going to run through some of the stocks that we see on the movers tool. We'll go over some of the morning news here. What I want from the chat here today, help me out, guys. We don't have Mitch. Mitch is an A-plus talent at producing this show, and we're without him. So help me. Give me some ideas. Give me some things to talk about. Give me some tickers that you're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and run down my list. Think of that. And then we'll go ahead and dive in together. Andy, you're welcome to talk about anything that you're watching here this morning as well. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring my screen up here. Okay, so first things first is we're just going to kind of pick up where we left off yesterday with the SPY. Now, the one thing that you'll notice from this chart, in addition to the new price candle that was formed, we also have a new trend line. So this light blue trend line, maybe I should color this something else so that it stands out a little bit more. Let's make it like a green. Okay, so this green trend line, one of the debates that we were having is where is the SPY going next? And some of the people in Happy Hour believe that these moves, both up and down, are just purely technical moves. It's literally the market following the technicals, and that's why we're seeing the different movement that we're seeing. So one of the trend lines that we went ahead and added to this chart yesterday is this one that goes from the low on October 13th? Let me make sure I get it right. Oh, geez. October 13th through these bottoms here. And as you can see, what we did recently, we didn't quite get down to this trend line, but we did bounce off of the 50-day moving average. So really the question is going to be, do we actually trade back up here? Do we trade into this resistance zone? Do we find some resistance here at 400? Do we continue to sell off? A lot of those questions are going to be answered today. We've got some data here this morning as well as tomorrow morning that's going to determine where we end up going here. So this is kind of what we're watching here. This trend line should act as support. If we do end up trading down, we'll see if we end up going there. We're going to be watching this today. And as far as trades go, we'll always, of course, be watching the SQQQ, TQQQ, and then some of the other ETFs that we've been talking about here on a regular basis. So that takes care of the SPY chart. Let me go ahead and flip over to some of the news here. So a couple of things. We've already got one of our prints here. We got quarter over quarter GDP for quarter four is 2.7 versus the 2.9 expected, 3.2 prior. So we're still contracting here on GDP. This was a little bit less than what was expected. We also got the initial jobless claims, 192,000 versus the 200,000 estimate. So 195K prior. So just slightly under the expectation there, but not a whole lot. So if we take a look here intraday at the market, let me go ahead and flip over to my movers tool. Let's go ahead and tie this all together by loading up an intraday chart of the SPY. You can see here that it looks like we are trying to go higher, right? So we're definitely above yesterday's close. Looks like we're trying to break above this 401. We'll see if we end up getting that. So just kind of some things to keep in mind there. Now, we also we're talking about nat gas, right? Nat gas was something that we've been talking about a lot recently in terms of where it's going. When I woke up here this morning, BOIL, remember, this is the levered ETF. So if you want the unlevered product, a little bit easier of a trade, you could always use UNG. But these are the tradable ETFs that mirror the nat gas futures contract. This one is BOIL. It is the levered product. So we were actually lower here this morning, and we're having quite a big bounce here. Now, BOIL running into this double top here at 521. I'd actually love to see this kind of break out of here. Nat gas has been trading up since 7 o'clock this morning. So Nat gas on a bounce here. Again, we bounced the first time when we broke under 2. This time we got down to about 210, and we've bounced up to 225, 226 area here. So we'll see if Nat gas can keep going. If you can correctly predict and trade Nat gas, man, you are a pro trader. I will for sure say I have very, very difficult time tracking, predicting, and going through nat gas. It's very, very tough. I guess it's why they call it the Widowmaker. So anyway, BOIL going to be on deck here today, UNG, if you're looking for a little bit more of a comfortable trade. Let me run through the movers tool, and then Andy, if there's anything that you want to talk about, we'll go ahead and dive into that. Got about 19 minutes before the market opens here, so we should have to prepare.
I have one right now, Ryan, that I really just I know you're about to talk about it, so I just want to jump in and steal your thunder.
Let's do it.
OCEA, this thing is a monster. We're all the way back up to this upper shadow. Huge beast mode move, only 40% right now, but I mean, do we have potential for a 100% ripper today? I definitely have seen them look like this and go to 100% no problem. I don't know if you want to read the news on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're spot on. This was going to be the first one that I talk about here. And I'd actually love to ask you about this formation that we're seeing here in the pre-market. But you're right. As far as the news catalyst here today, Ocean Biomedical shares are trading higher after the company issued a press release celebrating the discovery of bispecific antibodies and immune checkpoint inhibitors that kill, I'm going to butcher this, glioblastoma cells. I don't know. It was good. It sounded good, right? And melanoma cells, and block the metastasis of malignant melanoma cells to the lung by over 90%. Okay, so it sounds like this is pretty good, right? Sounds like this is going to help stop or block malignant melanoma cells in the lung. That sounds pretty good. So I can understand why this is moving. The other thing here is that this fits into the biotech pharmaceuticals theme that we've talked about, where some of these smaller stocks have really put in big runs today. Andy, I'm with you here. This is the type of catalyst that could make this stock run 100%. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do that. We never know what's going to happen, but you're right. It's these medical ones, especially these ones that are dealing with cancer, that really cause these stocks to run. Now, the question so basically what I've done here, Andy, is I actually meant to add this third line as well. I basically added 3 lines here that are denoting some support and resistance, and I'm calling these key levels. Key level here at 688 at the top. Obviously, this was from the initial pre-market open here today. This was the high that we've currently set. We pulled all the way back down and found some support here at 526. And actually, if you zoom in, you can see we actually triple tested that support level. We came in 526, tried to bounce, then found support at 526 2 more times before taking off here on some pretty good volume. So definitely like to see that. Makes me think that the 526 level is going to be some pretty good support here. Now, the question that I have for you, Andy, is when you see these, the last line here is the intraday high, right? Intraday highs or previous intraday highs, always mark those. When the stock gets over, it likes to react to it. Okay, so those are the 3 lines that I have. Andy, when you see this type of formation, does this make you more inclined to trade it? Like when you see something pop on some momentum, come back in and find support and then go back towards the high, is that something that you look for? Does that help your trade plan on this?
That's exactly what I'm looking for, Ryan. When I see something like this and I see good news, this news gets me a little excited. That's actually scary for me that I get excited about this news, because I've got myself in trouble many times doing that, but I've matured quite a bit. But yeah, that's exactly what I look for us to pull back after that really nice hype move and find some sort of support. And then once I see that we're holding that support level, it's a no-brainer. I'm not afraid to grab it there. Where I am afraid to grab it is after we just pushed up like we just did and we're all the way at the highs again. Now I'm thinking, if I touch this, it could easily just drop and find that support before it launches. And I don't want to be there like on the runway waiting for this move. I want to be there at the right time. And my biggest thing is I don't like grabbing resistance breaks. I like to wait for it to come back to me first, then ride it to the resistance break, take partial profit, and let the rest do the work,
Yeah, I'm actually thrilled that you said that, because one of the things that I've been struggling with, first of all, I really enjoy trading range breaks, but the market has to be conducive to that. And recently on some of these smaller cap names, we really haven't had that extension when it breaks a high or when it moves to a new high. We actually get better trades or better possible trades when it curls or comes up off of a support point. We actually just talked about curling. Was it earlier this week? Maybe it was even last week. I can't remember, but recently we talked about curling and we kind of showed that. And by the way, just to kind of emphasize that this is the curl that we're talking about, right? Price comes into a level, curls, and then goes ahead and takes off. So Andy, your point there is well taken, because the trades that have been better in terms of ease of trading, consistency, and even profits have been waiting for it to come back into you and then taking it. We actually have one of the traders here in the chat, the Crow, has been doing this really, really well recently. I've been able to buy some of these stocks after support. And the other thing is that some of these stocks that show extreme strength in the pre-market end up selling off right out of the open. But then they find support, and later on they trade back up. And in fact, one of the stocks from yesterday kind of fits the bill for this, right? This was LLAP. Now we did have a move here. This was not in the afternoon per se, right? This was still in the morning, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. Stock was super strong in the pre-market. As soon as the market opened, it sold off, but it really did kind of find a bottom. And by the way, this is when you're talking about bottoms, whether they're longer term bottoms or shorter term bottoms, this is what they look like. They're very often not that V shape that we've seen that COVID made really famous when you look at a daily chart. They're messy like this, right? There's back and forth. There's discovery there. There's probing different levels just to see how good that support is. And then the stock takes off. So this one was actually great. Nice little move here through 292, which we identified from the pre-market. That lined up nicely with the VWAP, gave us a nice trade here. Kind of held up, doing the same thing again here this morning, right? Showing some strength here in the pre-market. So let's see what happens. Do we open up, sell off right out of the open and then curl, or do we have some of that momentum? So LLAP also on the list this morning. We had this one yesterday. This actually gave us a decent trade yesterday. Let's see if we get some follow through here today. Now, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm glad you brought up LLAP there. That's anyway, because I like to look at the previous behavior of these plays, whatever, especially when looking at a penny stock or a biotech or something. And when you look at this OCEA, you can see that it already popped and it dropped pretty hard from those highs. If you were in that would have been quite a bit of pain. So I expect that the same behavior is going to continue along the way. So if I'm going to look to grab something like this, I want it to do exactly that again. I want it to get just bloody messy, and then I see that it's actually holding and grab there.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So we'll watch these. Do me a favor, just interrupt me if you have any trades or any lessons or anything like this. I'm used to it. We stumble over each other all the time. So if we're going through anything, please interrupt me, and we'll go ahead and cover that. Let me move on right here real quick. Next one here on the list, and I'm going to kind of speed this up here. We got 11 minutes till the market opens. The chat just absolutely going bonkers here and giving us some more stuff to take a look at. I will go through that and catch up here in a sec. I'm starting to develop more of an appreciation for what Mitch does every day. It's not the easiest thing. But we'll talk about that too, Andy. We can talk about the pressure to perform here and all of that. But we'll get to that in a sec. Next stock here is going to be JNCE. That is Jounce Therapeutics. Juliet, Nancy, Charlie, Echo. Sorry, don't have my military alphabet down using cheat sheet there. Jounce Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company and RedX announced a recommended business combination. Jounce yesterday also announced restructuring. So first of all, for all of you gamers out there, the first time I read this whim, I definitely read RedX as LedX and got all excited. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that means that you're normal. I'm the weirdo here. Now, Jounce, JNCE, this actually fits again into the theme that we're taking a look at, therapeutic. This catalyst, not as impactful, at least not on the surface, not to me, as the one that we just saw in OCEA. So we'll see what Jounce actually does here today. But I'm basically going to do the exact same exercise. I'm going to mark off some of these levels that are clearly key levels or clearly have been key levels here earlier this morning. And then here's the other one right in here, which is right where we're at, 125. Let me take a quick look at the daily here because I do not recognize this stock. Does look like maybe we've bottomed here. And here's the other thing, right? This kind of looks gappy. We end up taking out this high here. We're kind of gappy up to 179. So not a potential 100% runner here, but boy, if we fill that gap, this would actually make for a really good trade here as well. Any thoughts here on JNCE before I move on?
Now, JNCE, basically, I'm just looking at it on the 4-hour, and we are inside, and it's obviously, I see this as reacting to orders, basically taking people's money. So I'm kind of, I would like to stay away.
Yeah, we'll see if we end up getting a trade here. I know exactly what you're talking about. I also always try to preach being safe, trying to be as safe, managing your capital, really protecting your capital should be your number one goal. If you find that one of the plays that we're taking a look at feels a little bit less shaky, maybe that's the one to go. All right, next here is going to be NVIDIA. And here's the thing about NVIDIA, right? So we had earnings yesterday. We had a huge pop. And we have more strength here today. NVIDIA shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 results and issued strong Q1 guidance. The company also reported 11% data center revenue growth. So hats off to our news desk team at Benzinga here, finding you the material information. The other thing that happened in there was they had a one-liner about AI. And actually, I saw a meme today that was absolutely hilarious. I wonder if I saved it. I'll try and bring it up here for us today. No, can't really find it. I'll see if I can find it and bring it up for us. But I saw a meme here is basically the flex tape guy slapping AI onto a leaking water bin. And that's kind of what NVIDIA did here. So what I'm trying to get at here is this might have some strength here, but I wouldn't even be shocked if this ended up pulling back today. I mean, if we take a look at this closed yesterday about 207. It's 233. We are up 26 points from yesterday's close. 26 points from yesterday's close. So a huge move here on NVIDIA. I'm definitely not looking to trade this to the upside with calls here today. I'm looking to do, I'm probably going to stay away from this. I'm going to try to stick to some of the smaller ones. Now, I will admit here, some of the stocks that I've said stay away from, kind of had some big moves. And the next one that I want to take a look at here is Lunar. I was telling you guys, be careful with this. This could easily come back in. That was at about $40. And the stock yesterday, just an absolute monster move up to $136. Now it came back in towards 75. This type of action, this is too much risk and gambling for my blood. This is not something that I really, really like to play. So I stayed away from it. However, some of the gunslingers out there, you guys probably were either on this or upset that you missed it because we just had an absolutely gigantic move in this name. Let's keep this one on the back burner today and see how this one does as well. Any thoughts on Lunar or NVIDIA before I move in? So
yeah, NVIDIA yesterday, I was as always listening for the squawk for all these earnings, and I was watching Pro. Going back to OCEA real quick, it's a 19 million float, I believe. So that's something to consider in that play as well. But yeah, NVIDIA, I grabbed it at 209.01 yesterday, I think 209.06 or so. And I sold it into that pop right about $23 or $223. I obviously could have held it longer, but I don't like to sit on the runway, Ryan. So I did, I'm glad that I sold it at about 223-ish. And anyway, so that was a really nice move. But my thoughts for NVIDIA and even Tesla are that they might just turn around and pull the market with them. So I'm being a little cautious with the overall market based on these two stocks.
Okay. So I'm with you there. And these two have definitely been stalwarts. I guess you could even throw Apple in there too. So these are stocks that we watch all of the time. We'll continue to do that. We're running out of time fast. Let me run through the couple more stocks here on the list, and then I'll go ahead and catch up on the chat. I don't want to short you guys. We already talked a little bit about nat gas and then some of the tradable ETFs. SOUN, this is another AI play, right? This is SoundHound AI. This moving with the AI sector. AI seems to be strong again here today. By the way, while we're at it, why don't I go ahead and check in on Ticker AI? Ticker AI is strong again, so we'll watch this one as well. If we go back to Sound, one of the things you'll notice, I actually didn't add any lines here on Sound today. These are actually lines from our previous charting of this stock. Now, we did punch through that 420. Nice. We'll see where we end up going. Let me go ahead and add another upside target here, 344. Let's take a look at the daily chart and kind of get our bearings here. So here's another one of these formations. I can't deny these formations, especially on the daily chart. Even if it's a stock that I think is in part of like a fad or a near-term catalyst that might kind of dry up. I still love this chart formation. Popped as high as about 495 here, came back in and now curling back towards the top. You can see all these different lines that we identified here. If this breaks here to the top, might not do it today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. If this breaks to the top, I do think this can keep rolling. We've seen this with AI. The up cycle has lasted longer than I thought. Or longer than I gave it credit for, I should say. So we'll see if SOUN gets crazy here today. Next one is going to be GNPX. This is Geneprex. This is actually a stock that I used to hold a while ago. I made a little bit of money on it, but not anything crazy. Daily chart sure looks like we want to test 2 and bust above. We'll see if that happens. Let me go ahead and add a couple of lines here to this chart. You're not going to fail on me, are you, chart? No, of course not. Of course not. All right, so this is what we're going to be looking at here on GNPX. Really would like to see this 180, 181 area fall first. VWAP about 190. We'll see if we end up getting up there. We already talked about Boyle, Sound, LLAP, Baba. Boy, some of these Chinese stocks really got crushed. You see Baidu the other day? Absolutely smoked. I'm going to stay away from Baba here. We did cross through 100. I do have a catalyst here. Alibaba shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q3 adjusted EPS and sales results. This might be one for contracts here. We'll probably check in on it, but not necessarily going to trade this one. AMD here making a move in the pre-market up towards this $81 level. This in sympathy with NVIDIA, right? Our news desk telling you, NVIDIA or AMD shares, trading higher in sympathy with NVIDIA, which reported strong Q1 results. Okay, BHC. This is Bausch. This was a bankruptcy thing recently, wasn't it? Well, let's get some more data here. Let's wait for Bausch to actually trade a little bit more. Not a whole lot of volume here. I understand that it's up, but doesn't really look all that appealing. The rest here, some of these ETFs, looks like Uber and Intel are on there. That's about it. Okay. Let me quickly run through the chat here. Boy, you guys did not disappoint. You came out here. Okay. AMD. We talked about SPY. We talked about QQQ. We're going to analyze pretty consistently. NVIDIA, we talked about. Ryan asking, has BA seen its peak? So BA, this is an interesting one. My tendency here is to say no. I like BA as a company, great American company. They also have defense contracts, which for me is a real good thing for a stock trying to continually make highs. I know that they're struggling with the commercial aviation thing. I know all of the stuff about the MAX. I've actually talked to a Boeing engineer before on the MAX, so I have a little bit different opinion there. Has it seen its peak? Near term, I mean, if the market comes in, make no mistake, Boeing is likely going to come in with it. But has it seen its peak? No, I think eventually this does trade above 220. And again, a lot of it is going to be dependent on the overall market. But with Boeing, you have that added backstop that it does have defense contracts, military contracts. 20 seconds until we open up here. Let me keep rolling through the chat. OCEA is a SPAC too. Thank you, Laura. I actually didn't dive into it. Good to know. It's only been trading for 5 days, says David. That is the SPAC. Lunar launched. Yes, it did, Sydney. You got that right. Joyce, we covered GMPX. Tom saying, Ryan, you're doing an awesome job. Tom, you're always really supportive. I really appreciate that, my man. I'm always trying to do better. Ryan, love you. Slow it down. Good advice. I will try to slow it down here. I did have a bunch of coffee. Every once in a while, Ryan is on YouTube, 2x speed. I like it. Okay. Definitely we'll take that advice and try to slow this down. The market is open. Good luck, folks. Let's go ahead and flip over to the scanner and see what we see here.
So one of the things, Ryan, this morning is Dennis Dick and Aaron Bree over Pre-Market Prep. They were talking about doing exactly what I wanted to do. That was buying the dip this morning when the futures dropped off, when the SPY dropped off. And unfortunately, I was in the car and could not do that. And as you can see, that looks amazing. If you look at the 4 hour, we just broke above the 200 EMA, and I could see us going in for a rejection on the SPY right at the declining 65.
Okay, so let me go ahead. I don't have all of the indicators that you do. By the way, OCEA looking like it's trying that top that we just talked about, that 688, 690 top. Let me take a look at the level 2 here. Highest print I have is 689. Looks like it was testing that area. It came off of it. I'll let you know if we end up breaking that. Okay, so the SPY. So you were looking to buy the dip. Now, I don't have the EMA. Let me go ahead and actually add that. You said the 65 EMA, and you put that on the 4 hour chart. Did I get that right?
Yeah, the 4 hour chart. I can tell you guys 406.06 is the level that I'm looking at for a possible rejection here, declining level. And so it's a moving target that's going to come down towards us rather than, staying where it's at or moving up. So keeping that in mind whenever we have a target,
All right, I'm trying to load up that 4 hour chart here. So here we go. So the EMA that we have here is this light blue line. And so basically you're talking about buying this dip on a nice move back up towards that light blue line, right? That's what you're trying to capture here.
That is what I wanted to do, but now I see it as a missed trade, Ryan. I would need this to pull back again and wait for some sort of relief before I would get in there again. Because like I said, I told you this last time, but I owned a lot of venomous snakes before, and only one time when I was younger did I grab a snake by the head, and it tried to bite through its own face, and it actually made me start shaking to where I had to put the snake down. Where I put the snake down was on my floor, and it went under my dresser. So that was.
You're putting me on tilt just telling that story, bro.
Yeah, so I mean that's how I feel with these stocks. You get your heart pumping. Oh man, look at OCEA. This is beautiful. I think we're gonna halt right now. We're going to halt. And there we are. We halt.
Yep, there you are. Nice call, man. You actually got that right before the signal here. But you're right. You could tell there it's going to stop at 747. So really quick, just to kind of recap what we saw here. This bust through 690, 688 was where a lot of the volume traded, but that 688 to 690 area really kind of sent it here on OCEA. So we're on our first halt. One of the things that we talk about on this show all of the time are the number of halts. When you often get 3 or 4 upside halts, the next thing that invariably comes is a downside halt. We don't want anyone to be trapped in that. So if you guys are trading this, I would say, first of all, for me, I'm very quick on the trigger when it comes to day trades. It's how I plan day trades. I've been bitten a number of times, not literally by a snake like what Andy was just talking about, but I have been bitten by the market here on some of these day trades. So I do have a very, very quick trigger with some of these. If this is me, I'm not in this. I got a lot going on here, but if I am in this, as soon as this opens up, I'm at minimum lightening some of my position, get some of those gains into my pocket, and then I'll work on figuring out where I'm going to get more of those gains. So OCEA halted here. We got about a 5 or a 10-minute halt. During that time, let me go ahead and take a look at some of these other stocks. Looks like LLAP struggling to get through. I'm going to actually turn the 65 EMA off until we get back, till we talk about it again. Struggling to build above the VWAP. Now it's holding in here. Let's see if we can actually cross through that VWAP and maybe that 310 key level that we identified. Jay Wild, take a look at Joby here. Let's take a look at Joby. I'm going to actually refresh my platform here, so I apologize for the lag. Woo, Joby, big move here. What is some of the news on Joby, Jay? Earnings. Okay, so Joby moving here on earnings. This, we talked a little bit about a gap and go strategy yesterday. You could really use that here today. I just took the 9 EMA off. Silly me. I'm going to go ahead and add that back here. Just give me one sec. Let's go ahead and add another. There's your 9 EMA. So it's going to be your yellow line there. So again, just showing you when the market has some strength, you can really use this. You can really use this 9 EMA as both your entry and your exit here. This on Joby, big volume out of the gate, nice positive catalyst, and we'll see if we end up coming back in and testing that. So okay, Joby looks like it's going here. Let's see. Did I miss anything in the chat? I probably did. Nando, you want to take a look at Microsoft? Let me go ahead and do that. And Andy, if you see anything, please interrupt me. Just want to go through as many things as I can here.
Currently, I'm just looking to see if the SPY can pull all the way down to, well, actually, that would not be the right numbers for you guys with SPY. Anyways, looking at the futures, ES, looking at about 4021.
Okay, SPY looked to me sitting right at its VWAP here, trying to bounce off the VWAP. We'll see if we get that. Real quickly, let's take a look at Microsoft. Who was this? Let me get the name right. Nando. And let me there we go. Microsoft, please. Okay, it's not a whole lot of context in there. Microsoft does look like it's trading up here. Let's take a look at the daily chart and see where we're at. Let's turn VWAP off. All right, so really the question for me on Microsoft is, this retracement, is this done, right? Is this the next move up here towards 280, about 35 points away from where we're at, 25 points away from where we're at. For as far as a trade, like if you're looking for a new trade here, this is actually a pretty simple setup. Trade here is going to be looking for maybe 275, 280, and I would put the stop right here at 250. So let's actually use the long position tool in these charts here. And let's kind of get that risk reward. All right. So let's say we're going to take it right here. We're going to put the stop right here, and our target's going to be right here. Okay. So this is actually not a bad setup if you like Microsoft to the upside. We're actually getting a 4.25 risk to reward ratio here. And in fact, I might, just to kind of stay in this, maybe even lower this a little bit more. Now it's not, there we go. Now we got a 3-to-1 risks to reward here. So if you like Microsoft here, this might be something that you're taking a look at. I have no position in Microsoft. My bias in this market is still that we come in and test some of those lows. I think that there's definitely some headwinds. We'll see if we end up getting that. All right. OCA is still halted. We will check in on that when it opens. Let me refresh my platform here real quick. Should be a little bit snappier. As you guys saw, I was talking really fast today, and I was also doing a whole bunch of stuff here earlier this morning, and I think I may have just kind of overloaded it. Wouldn't be the first time, certainly won't be the last. Let me try and refresh it and get a little bit snappier performance here. ATLX being shouted out by Bex in the chat. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Ooh, Ooh, okay. So we set up a hypothetical trade on Microsoft. I'm going to leave that on there so that we can check it out again. Let's take a look at ALT, or is that ATLX? Yes, ATLX. I got to spell it right. Come on, Ryan. Okay, so this is one of the lithium companies, right? We actually talked about this on Happy Hour too. This moving, nice move here today, right? Nice little move through 1313. Now this, I actually think I might like this for a swing. Tough to buy it up here. Clearly a resistance area going all the way back, maybe even further than that. Yeah, going all the way back to 2021. This looking like a resistance area, but definitely a bullish chart. Like to see this. Here's one of the things that jumps out at me. The last time we saw a huge volume stick like this was right here. And we really just kind of came back in after that. Now, it didn't have the nice buying volume on day 2 like we did here. But again, we're just kind of trading up into a resistance area now. Something to keep on watch. This definitely strong. This moving, I think, off the back of SGML, another one of the lithium companies. Did I get that right? Am I mixing up tickers? Nope. SGML. This had news recently about being acquired. So these moving together probably. Let me see. Go through the news here. I can't find it, but I'm probably just moving too fast.
So I just paid for some lunch on MES. I just grabbed one contract real quick.
Okay, is that an MES? That's the futures, right?
Yeah, it's basically the S&P futures, the micro E-minis.
Okay, so you prefer MES than like /ES than just the actual ES?
I mean, it just depends on how much money you want to risk. And being live right now, I think you make $5 per point on MES, and so if I'm going to be live, I don't trade as well whenever I'm live, so I'm going to take lighter positions and try to be in the safest plays I can.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there totally. And you guys were also saying Netflix tanking. Boy, let me get some of my other charts up so I can watch more stuff. You're absolutely right. Netflix pounding the lows here. Looks like it actually wants some more lows. That's in contrast to Amazon and Apple, which seem to be finding bottoms here. Same thing with Square. Square actually bouncing quite nicely here, bouncing really with the market. Netflix doesn't really seem to care about the market bouncing, just continuing to trade down. Okay, so you were talking about you trade worse when you're streaming or when you're live. I'll be honest, I do too. And I think that there's definitely an aspect of the pressure to perform that's going on there. But it's just, Mitch has done this for longer than I have. And I've told him, it's really, really impressive what you're able to do. I always feel like when we have this show, we've got such a great chat. We've got a whole lot of energy every single day. I want to be able to provide actionable signals, but sometimes that's easier said than done. And one of the other things is that if you're trying to sift through quality, by the way, market that bounce very, very quickly abating here is SPY trading back down to 401. It's actually beneath 401. Let's see if this sell-off resumes a little bit here. As far as trading live, one of the things that I've done to try and kind of counter it is I just reduced my position size. I can't remember the last time I took a full size trade while I was live here. I've done that a couple of times, and it's really, really hurt me because I've gotten distracted by something else. I started reading the chat. I picked up a different stock, or I put a different stock in focus. And so when I'm doing this, I try to do anything I can to limit the damage. But I totally understand where you're coming from there, Andy, and it's just something that we try to fight through.
Yeah, my thing is I was sharing my numbers every single day, and I was trading every single day. I was telling people when I was taking profit, where I was taking profit on everything that I was trading, and I'm also trying to do research on the market and figure things out for my own strategy and to hone my skills. So it became a thing where I was getting in my own way with a lot of this, and I just needed to back up and go trade by myself quietly. And man, it's so peaceful, Ryan. It's so peaceful.
Yeah, it is. But that at the same time, I do want to be able to interact with our community here. This is a huge part of what I'm doing. So, all right, you guys are saying OCEA unhalted. Let's take a look. All right, so it unhalted, popped higher, and we're actually holding higher here. Is it coming back in? Looks like it's coming back in. This one wild. Andy, good call on up. Now it's going back up. Here we go. We're actually going to break some more highs here. I would say look for this probably to halt again. Wouldn't you say, Andy? You're pretty good on these stocks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for this thing to halt, and I'm also it's just basically that news. That news got me excited. We just busted through the 65 EMA on the daily, and as you could see, we were down. So a really nice predictable area of rejection is probably right about, if I can see this right, 956, if we can make it there.
Okay, let me see. What chart did you get that off of? Just the daily?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 4 hour, and I got my 65 and 200. You don't have to throw it on there, but the 200 is sitting right at 955 now, 956.
Okay, here's that pop that you're talking about, and then. Yeah, to me, I mean, next spot here to me, 884, 956, right above that. That also kind of lines up with some of this sideways consolidation area. We'll take a look at that. Okay, OCEA coming back in now. Now, here's one of the things I don't want to see. For all of you folks trading this to the long side here, I don't want to see this immediately reverse and go into the downside halt. I think if that happens, you're going to lose a lot of this momentum here, and I would be cautious about taking long trades. I would really, really want that to have a firm setup going forward. So we'll see if this ends up coming in here. It looks like it's actually trying to close this gap. This is, again, just a 1 minute chart, so take it with a grain of salt. Looks fairly thin. I don't see a lot of big offers out there on the level 2, but I do see offers kind of being slapped in there as the price moves up.
What's beautiful, Ryan?
Sorry, go
Sorry
ahead.
about that. What's beautiful here is on OCEA, we just came in for a perfect retest out of that halt. We hit that level and we bounced pretty strong. Price was unable to keep it down there. I thought we were going to nicely come back and touch this rising 20 on one of my charts at a rising level of 770 right now. And it was lower at that point. But anyways, it was unable to even touch that level. So, when the things you see them do every single day, it can't even do that. I mean, maybe there's something in it for the longs, but
yeah. And here, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's this right now, like it feels heavy. It feels like we're going to get kind of a big sell order and really kind of knife down, but not sell. And just all I had to do was say that we got a 20-cent pop to the upside. Go figure.
That's always happens.
That's always how it is.
Exactly. Every single time you feel one way or that's the thing I love about stocks is they're always surprising us and we're always learning,
All right, looks like it's trying to trade up here. Oh, this is definitely a battle here. I'll be honest, after watching this back and forth here, I'm glad I'm not in this. This is the type of stuff I try to stay away from. SPY bouncing here, by the way, really bouncing off that 401 level. 401.56 here. We'll see if we can continue to get highs. My intraday high print on the SPY is 401.71. Let's see if we can take that to the upside here.
It's beast mode. That's beautiful.
Walter Lyons, love hearing this. Market very kind to me today. What was once my only and biggest bag is now my biggest win. Lol. I got my E-mini scalps off and hit price target quick and stress-free, feeling grateful for the work put in today. Walter, I absolutely love hearing this. Let's just carry that positivity forward. Hopefully the rest of you can also have a great day here today. Awesome stuff and good conviction there. When it comes to bags like that, I always say if you have conviction, if the thesis hasn't changed, if the plan hasn't changed, that's one reason to stay in it. Awesome that you're able to turn that into your biggest win. OCEA here looks like it's trying to go for that top. Looks like it's trying to bust the top off here and go higher. When we got 873 on OCEA. Stay focused saying LLAP hitting lows. All right, so we didn't get any follow through from yesterday's session, at least not yet. Oh yeah, and that does look heavy here. So we're actually at one of these levels. Let's say the point of no return. I shouldn't say no return. We've seen some of these get crazy later on. 282 here would be my next level of downside support on LLAP. We'll see if it gets there.
If you want to pull up the SPY on the 4 hour, the 4 hour exactly. That's what I've been looking at, and I've been feeling overall. I think I feel bullish, but for every predictable area that we can break out is also a predictable area that we can break down. So always keep that in mind whenever looking at any of these things. But we had that nice consolidation going on the 4 hour for the SPY, and we just broke above the 200, and we're riding pretty strong towards that area of rejection I was telling you guys about earlier, declining at 406.08.
Yep. And so that is going to be your 65 EMA. The other thing here, my chart of my broker has person's pivots on it, right? So what ended up happening right there is we actually on the, what is this? The ES? On the actual ES, we busted through the first resistance pivot, sometimes denoted as R1. And that was with this strong move up here. So it looks like we took that resistance level out and got some strength going forward that way. Let's see what is next here. Awesome that you're watching this by Ron. Good to see you here this morning saying SHOO. Ron, you normally catch these movers here. Oh, that's Steve Madden. Shoot. I get it. Wow, nice move here, Ron. Would love to know what's going on here. Maybe this is just on the back of something else. I don't see any new. Oh, okay. Earnings here this morning, it looks like, for Steve Madden. Although this looks like it wasn't a great missed on EPS, beat on sales, lowered outlook, but higher revenue growth. Okay, so maybe that's what's going on here. Shoo, nice little move out of the gate here, Ron, if you caught that. Awesome stuff. Ryan, can you check JNCE? Yeah, let's do that. That was actually one of the stocks on the list here earlier. Is that off my most recent one? Yeah, let's go ahead and punch that up here. Jounce Therapeutics, let's take a look. OCEA, new highs here, above 9 now on OCEA. Okay, so the interesting thing here on Jounce, this actually a fairly decent formation here. Let's go ahead and turn the VWAP on. Really kind of just pushed off the VWAP on that expanding volume, and we're kind of grinding up here. I would say as long as you don't set a lower low here, like this type of trend, right? As long as we don't set lower lows here, this is looking pretty good. Really not a whole lot of movement here. 123 up to a high of 136, so really only 13 cents here, but definitely grinding. This might be a slower trader here today. OCEA continuing to rage, folks, continuing to rage here. 905, I've got high print as high as 923 on OCEA. Rippin, Dan, let me know if you're trading this today. You've got some pretty sharp levels with some of these stocks that move around pretty quickly. Would love to know what you're thinking here on OCEA. Robert, one SPY. Okay, awesome, Robert. We will check that out. I'm sorry, Andy, I didn't mean to run you over there.
No problem. I can tell you one thing on OCEA. I really wanted to grab it, and I started looking literally back at the SPY, and then I missed the move. But we had some really nice consolidation with volume contraction over here on the 15-second, and then we just flew like a rocket right off the 20 EMA. So that's always a really good sign. They tend to ride the 20, and the 9 on the lower time frames like that. So, and we're going to halt right now. We're going to do that.
Sure are. And so this is going to be another upside halt, huge bid stacking here, and we are halted. Good call there. Good call.
As we're talking about that, we're starting to consolidate a little bit here on the SPY. So just in the near term, looking at the lower time frame. Yeah, we went right to that area that I told you, though, Ryan, that predictable area of rejection here on OCEA. If we break through this, what is it, 958 or whatever it is now. If we break through that, this could be amazing. This could be crazy.
Yeah, don't forget, Andy, at the beginning of the show here, you said this one was probably the one that could give us the 100% move. We're up here 95% right now.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Just saying, that was a really good call, bro. I don't know what else to tell you. Gave that to you.
11.3 million traded, not so shabby. 95.22% right now in this halt. I think we come out of this halt, we hit 100%. But I think right after that, we might be in for a little profit taking.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that volume trade there. 11.3 million shares traded. Remember, that's against an average 100-day average of 463K. So huge volume interest there. Just making sure my cat's not trying to murder the birds.
Yeah, I'm kicked. Okay. I always say we don't cry over missed trades, but I am kicking myself, Ryan, because I was about to buy this, and then I started looking over here, and then boom, you're like, it's popping, it's flying. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but you know what? There will always be another opportunity. And I think that one of the big things that you're doing there by being disciplined and not chasing is actually going to pay for itself down the road. Sounds crazy when you're looking at the face of something that's ripping 100%, but I've been there, right? I've been in some of the stocks that have really ripped, and I've been in some of the stocks that really tanked that you just can't get out of. SOUN being mentioned by Robert here. SOUN having a great move off this 405 area. Remember, I don't think this was a new line. I think this is one that we actually had here before. Went higher in the pre-market, back tested that level. Soon as we did, we got a huge volume stick that really kind of ripped. We got as high as 453 here. So SOUN already giving us an excellent trade here this morning. Excellent.
Looks like we had another 100% ripper with VBLT. Right now we're sitting nice in some consolidation in the 5-minute. Call it a bull flag or whatever you want here, but this is showing some potential. I did not look at the news here, so I'm not really sure about what's going on.
Did I get that right? Victor Bravo Lima Tango.
Yes, right. Yep.
Yeah, so this is the penny stock here. We actually ripped yesterday. News here says Vascular Biogenic shares are trading higher after the company and Notable Labs announced definitive merger agreement. So I'll be wondering to see where this can go from here, given that agreement. But big move here. So it's 13 cents all the way up to almost 26 cents. So almost 100% move there. 71 a day.
You just said the problem, though. That's why I'm not really interested. That's why OCEA takes my interest, because 24-cent stock is just not doing it for me these days.
Yep. Nope. Me either. NVIDIA continuing to move up here. My goodness, is this strong? We actually came back in. This is a 65 EMA on a 1 minute. I don't know if that has any significance, but we actually dipped a little bit out of the pre-market and then continuing to move higher here. NVIDIA just strong. Remember, my thought here is that maybe this kind of comes in. Does not appear that is happening here. Do not jump in front of a freight train. I'm not necessarily looking to short. I'm not necessarily looking to short NVIDIA here.
You know, Ryan, there's a lot of significance to that 65 on your 1 minute right there, because one of the best things that I've learned as a trader is not looking at when we bounce these predictable areas, moving averages, whatever it is. But what you see here is we dropped off that 65 and then we reclaimed. Those reclaiming moments, those are some of the best trades that I have.
Yeah, and I totally get it on that reclaim. That should lower some of the risk there.
That's what I'm looking to do. There's too many times that I've grabbed the setup, and that's the setup, right? And then it had that little extra in it, and it's like, okay, I turned a winning trade into a losing trade grabbing the setup. But when I waited for it to do that little thing and then reclaim, there was no trick, there was no trap, and it was just, straight into the money.
Real quick, one of our chat members mentioning NSC. Good morning, Judge, by the way. Nice to see you here this morning. NSC, this is Norfolk Southern. This is the train that's involved in that derailment in Ohio. Now, I'm not trading around this. We brought this up in the happy hour. One of the things that some of the members reminded us of is that these often have insurance that covers a lot of some of these costs. So it looks really, really bad, and it certainly feels like this is an obvious short, not panning out, at least not so far. Dustin, looks like you like this long.
We're out of the halt on OCEA.
Say again.
OCEA is out of the halt.
There you go. And it looks like it popped higher initially and then instantly reversed. So we're hanging out right around this $9 level. Just give me 1 second. I got to make sure my birds are not getting a 9.
Yeah, I actually have a bird now, so I understand this. But my cat seems to not want to kill him, and the dogs, I'm really surprised. We have 2 giant German Shepherds, and the bird jumps on the floor. He's very brave, and I don't know, man. Dogs don't even bother him.
Marty looks like a boss. I'll be honest. Marty looks like an absolute boss. Looks like he takes no crap from nobody. Sorry for doing that. Buddy here says, "Oh, Ryan, you're a little bit short-handed today for work. Well, guess what? I'm going to make your life even more difficult by messing around." So anyway, we're okay. Sorry about stepping away there, but we're good. We're good. OCEA actually looks like this is going to try to go higher here. I can't even believe it.
For anybody who watched Ozark, we had to name him Marty Bird. So I'm sorry about that, but we had to. What's that blonde girl's name from that show, man? Every time she says,
I don't watch it. I don't watch it.
Every time I think Marty Bird, I hear her voice in my head. Yeah, I'm still looking for OCEA to just pop this upper shadow and pull back inside for a bit right now. And I mean, it just really depends on the behavior that we get at this point. If we just sort of stay flat and consolidate, that would be nice for a move higher. But, you know, I don't really see it just happening right now. If it does, that tells us something huge, you know?
Yeah, this to me definitely looks like it's got a 10 magnet. Real quick, by the way, Angela, welcome, good morning, saying a great bird name. And then also Ruth, is that the name of the blonde girl that you were talking about? Looks like our chat.
Yes, Ruth, thank you so much.
I love it.
Ruth is hilarious, but I hear her I hear her voice every time. Yeah, we just busted through that, no problem. We're gonna go back and do a halt here on OCEA right now.
Look at OCEA. Okay, well, Andy, I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I love that, you know, I ask you on short notice to hop on here. You oblige just because you're such a kind soul. And then the one stock that you talk about the group, you say, oh, this has the potential to move 100% here today. And here we are sitting another upside halt, plus 115%. Andy, you bring the luck to the show. Really appreciate that, my man. We are having a day here. Robert saying, love selling into a halt. Robert, oh man, this comment makes me so happy. This makes me so happy. When I first started trading and I first started dealing with stocks that would get halted, like I'd see a lot of stocks, you know, really kind of just push up on incredible strength, get halted. And I was like, man, these are the stocks that I want to get in, not really realizing some of the downside. And so when I would start trading them, I would do exactly what you're talking about. I'd start to see that big momentum move. I'd get all excited. I'd sell into that halt. And several times after that happened, the stock would open up and it would end up going lower. And I'd be like, I know what I'm doing. Now I would get humbled later on down the road, of course, but I did the exact same thing. Sold into that strength. Absolutely love it. Just keep banking it. Lucas saying, Osia, thank you guys. Lucas, as we will always say, we are happy to mention what we see here. We're happy to try and give you our trading plan or what we see from the chart. But at the end of the day, it is you putting your money at risk. It is you clicking the buttons. You are more than welcome, but be sure to pat yourself on the back because all of this is you doing it. Good stuff here. Absolutely love to see what we're seeing here today. I know Crow is not here today. But I'm willing to bet that he traded OCEA today. We'll ask him when he comes back. I got a feeling that he did.
Okay, Ryan, I have to interrupt you here if you don't mind.
Yes.
Have we talked about NEO Genomics? Because this thing has been creeping up, riding this 65 strong, and we have pretty relatively light volume, only 682,000 traded, 28.6%.
We have not. We have talked about NEO the EV car. Zoltan likes that company. We've talked about that quite a bit, but we haven't talked about NEO here. This is a nice move here today. I'll be honest, I don't know much about it, and I just switched the chart by accident. Sorry about that.
I really like these ones that climb up the ranks in the top percentage gainers. Those they sometimes, you know, they really give us a rare treat, you know.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. So I'm looking at the daily chart here on a stock like this. So you're just talking about that rare treat. Here's one of the things that I'm noticing here. It looks like we've bottomed. It looks like we're kind of curling. We've filled this gap going all the way back to March of last year. So almost an entire year. We've filled this gap to the upside. Now we're into this consolidation zone. Here's what I think could happen. And we've talked about this, about, trying to get more into swing trading, trying to find some multi-day swings, not just focusing on day trading. Here's one of the things I think you can take a look at. Now, I wouldn't necessarily run out to buy it now. Stock's up 28% today. Maybe this comes back in and gives us a better entry. But one of the things that you can watch here over the next several days is, does this volume on the daily chart pick up, right? Does this curl? Does this move through the gap area into a former consolidation area? Does this entice more buyers? If you see that, you could actually see this price move up over several sessions. You're kind of seeing that right in here, right? Volume picked up just a little bit, was predominantly buying volume, and the price ended up pushing up. Let's see if we get that same effect here on NEO. Beat sales and adjusted EPS for Q4. Lilani, thank you so much. Though it does say right here that the earnings were released before the open. We're going over the chart here. Forecast of revenue also a guide higher. That is definitely going to be one of the big catalysts. We've seen that the stocks that guide higher end up trading up. Stocks that guide lower often are punished for that. So NEO moving up here. Looking good.
I'm just happy that I paid for lunch today 3 times now, right?
Yeah. So are you going to have 3 lunches, or did you pay for 3 days? That's the real question.
I think I'm going to just up the ante and get a lobster roll.
Okay, that's not bad. Well, you're down there with all the fresh food. So we have a question here from Matisse. I'll go ahead and read it to you, Andy. Andy, you mentioned this EMA 65 a lot. Haven't heard anyone using this EMA previously. What's the reason for that? Maybe you can give a little bit more info on this. What time frames do you use it on?
I'm looking at the 4-hour, the daily, obviously weekly, monthly, the higher time frames. But then I'm looking at the 15-minute and my 5-minute. Hold on, real quick. Okay, and so I'm looking at my and I also have the 15-second on here. But if you look at basically any time frame with this, just watch it, don't trade with it. Just take a look, and you'll see what I was looking for and what I found. I was just messing around with the numbers from what I've heard and punching in the ones that I heard first, rather. And I was trying to find out which one had the most respect. Which one was I noticing that price had the most respect for? And the 65 turned out to be that one. And then I also went to another well-known moving average that everybody talks about, and that's 200 EMA. And the 200 EMA complements the 65 beautifully. So many times we'll see a rising 200 with a declining 65 right over it. And that is the indication that that stock's about to just die and fall apart. And more often than not, that's exactly what happens. So just watch that 65 along with the 200 EMA, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ortiz, let me know if that answers your questions there. Real quick, Quantum also saying, I think the 65-minute division divides the day into equal parts. I think I've heard this before too, but I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't have a calculator handy. But I think that you might be right there, Quantum. Wackadoodle, awesome handle there, by the way. David Green uses the 65 EMA as well. David Green, friend of Benzinga here, done live trading for us. He also uses that as well. Jay Rice, great to see you here. I don't know if I ever asked you what ended up happening with your Crocs trade, but you're mentioning here ARC low a day and Tesla red, some measure this for risk on. So I think what you're saying here is they look at ARC and Tesla and see if there's going to be risk on in some of these tech names. Am I getting that right? Correct me if I'm not. By the way, Tesla right at 200, pounding the lows here. Apple doing the same thing. Low here at 149. Now we're still green on Apple from yesterday's close, but the recent move here is a down move.
Yeah, we just pulled all the way back on the MES, which is probably the same for the SPY, right to the VWAP. Busting right through that VWAP now.
Still own Crocs, been selling out of the money calls on pops. Okay, awesome. That is a patient trader there. Awesome stuff, Jay. Keep us posted on that. You have nailed that trade. By the way, I just discovered that Crocs owns the Hey Dude shoe. So while I've come on here and spit hot fire about how much I don't like Crocs, I do love Hey Dude. I'm actually on my second pair of those. So that makes sense. That makes me like Crocs a little bit more. Good morning, Shelly. Great to see you. Buddy came to see if you were here. You weren't, so he bounced. Lunar dump must be moving over to OCEA. Okay, so we haven't checked on Lunar. Let's go ahead and do that. Change the ticker again. NVIDIA not rolling over yet, although it looks like it might have slowed down here. Lunar here down 15%. Now, take that with a grain of salt here, right? Because we opened at about 95. Now this is measuring from the 81, so we're down here about 13 points, just about 13 points on Lunar. To me, it sure seems like this is going to keep rolling over. I think that this might bounce again when we get to 60, but I got to think that this comes in. Got to think that this move here was just complete irrational exuberance, and I would expect that to kind of contract here.
So what a heavy a lot of heavy selling here. I'm looking at the flow index. I have flow trade up all the time whenever I'm trading these things, especially the SPY, the ES, and we got basically a line going straight down in the ES, and really sharp selling in the Qs as well as the SPY. So that's always interesting, and also oftentimes what I look for when I'm looking to buy rather than sell.
Yeah, so we talked about this too, Andy, and I'm on there too. There's a lot of times where you're in a situation where it looks like the trade is to just hold your nose and buy, right? You're going to try to buy as the stock is coming into a support level. Never feels great when the stock is just multiple red candles after another, but sometimes that's how you get your best profit here. By the way, OCEA still halted here at 1037. We will go back to that when it opens here. SPY looking like it's trying to bounce here off that 450 level. Looks like it went there to a T. We'll see if this ends up cranking. Did someone put a microphone underneath the nose of an important person? Mingo, I don't know what that means. If that's code here. Oh, I see. Big down move across. Someone said, now I get it. I guess I have to keep reading in order to get the context. That would make a lot of sense. Let's check, actually. Let's check to see. I don't have any headline. If there were headlines of something important being said here, it would come out in this news feed. That's why I have it set up like that. I do not have the squawk on today as I'm trying to focus here, but I don't see any piece of news. No, you don't have to be sorry, my man. We're all good there. Let me flip back over to the scanner here. OCEA opened up, huge pop to the upside here, up towards 12. My goodness, we are up now 150% on OCEA. This looks to keep going higher here. Oh, man, big time move here on OCEA. This is going to halt again here at 1210 if this holds. Going to halt again here to the upside. Halted. All right, so this is our 1, 2, 3. This is our fourth upside halt, or third. There's 1, resume, 2, resume, 3, resume. This is our fourth upside halt on OCEA. We've talked a lot about the rule of 3 here with some of these halts. It seems to change its direction after the third directional halt. This is our fourth directional halt. Has not turned around yet. This stock an absolute rager. AMAM. See this on the scanner. This was an excellent trade recently. Looks like we're getting another one here. This one a little less crazy here. Love to see this expanding volume. Again, guys, focus on, this is why I talk about this every single day. I know I sound like a broken record, but for heaven's sakes, this is why. When you have a stock that is consolidating and then all of a sudden you start to see this volume expand, look what happens to the price. Look what happens to the price. That is fairly universal. These are the types of moves that we are trying to capture by identifying some of these different key levels, as well as monitoring volume flow and relative volume. So AM here, great trade for whoever's in this. Great shout there. Fed members talking 40 minutes. Thank you, Walter. Always good to keep that on the radar. Shout out to the Benzinga Pro Calendar. That will really help you keep those in order here.
So Ryan, unfortunately, I'm going to have to get out of here. I really appreciate you inviting me on. It's always a pleasure to join you. And I love seeing the chat. Like you said earlier, trading live, that's the one thing. The people I've met, they've all been amazing. I've not met a trader yet that I don't like. So.
Yeah, me either. It's our profession, Andy. No problem, my man. Thanks so much for jumping on here. Good luck with your interview. For all of you that haven't, please go check out Mighty Soldiers Trades. Andy, definitely a friend of Benzinga here. Andy, again, super, super thankful of you jumping on here with short notice. Really, really appreciate it. Good luck. Keep pounding that 65 EMA, and we're going to have you back pretty soon.
Thanks, Ryan. I look forward to it. Thanks. Have a good one, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Give Andy a round of applause, folks. He is here helping out. Much appreciated. How are we doing out there? Becca saying silliness happening on GGAA. Yeah, you're right about that. What kind of volume are we looking at on this stock? Oh my goodness, this is so thin. This is so thin. Let me go back to that. Let me go back to that and flip this over to the daily. This is, to me, this is kind of untradeable. We've traded 83,000 shares. Traded 83,000 shares is a double on this. Just, yeah, to me, this is going to be very, very difficult to actually trade. But if somehow you guys caught this, congratulations. Awesome stuff here from the group. Thank you very much, Andy. And thanks to our group for being so kind and welcoming. Jay Wright saying triple Qs here would be really red without NVIDIA. Lots of fades. Indeed. And Jay, let me just ask you directly. Do you think NVIDIA fades here today? I think we might. Doing a really good job holding in there. You're right, though, Jay. I think if this starts to actually fade here today, it's probably going to take some more stuff with it to the downside. Looking around here, Tesla under 200 now, Apple under 149, Amazon, which was trying to bounce and show some strength earlier, Amazon down to a 95 handle. Bitcoin's up off the lows, but not having a really strong day here. So just kind of looking around. All right, we'll see. The Crow, good morning, my man. Welcome. Guy's got a surfboard and guitars in the background. He's got to be cool. I second that. He definitely is. Crow, did you trade OCEA today? That's what we were betting on earlier. Sal, much appreciated, my man. Let me know if there's anything that I can do better. Always looking for that feedback. Let's check in on Joby again. You guys mentioned that earlier. Let's see, Joby. Joby, nice move here. So it looks like we're really kind of butting up against 5. Maybe if we get a break through 5 here, you could have another potential trade here. Remember, range breaks have not been working. Volume is drying up a little bit here, but Joby right at this 5 level. And this kind of, again, this definitely is support level. Let's see if we can actually break above this. You might be able to scalp this on a push through here. GGAA just jumped another $7. Yeah, that stuff like that, just absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at AM here. Super strong. This has been a great swing. Who was this that was talking about this? The Crow. This is a swing from yesterday. Yep. So if you're in this, good stuff here. What was your entry on this, Crow? This great trade here on Ambrix. OCEA open. No, sorry. Still halted here. 1364. Massive move. Plus 183%. Oh my goodness. Halted again on OCEA. So it did. It opened and it halted again. Man, I can't even check other stocks. I got to keep OCEA on the screen here. Otherwise, we're going to lose it. So my goodness. What a move here today. Let's see if there's anything else off this. So laser, we saw this. So this actually gear in here too. Watch this one for later in the day too. This one actually might pick up. We're right at VWAP here on laser. We get any type of volume pop, you might have a scalp here. Ticker LAZR. The other thing that I noticed on here was Pan W was on there. Let's see what Palo Alto is at. So Palo Alto dipped a little bit here, but kind of trading up here on some good volume. This is what put it on the relative volume scanner. Nice move there through VWAP on Palo Alto. This looks higher to me, folks. Looks like 190 on deck here for Palo Alto. Let's check back in on NVIDIA. That was our earnings beat here today. Let's see if that's turning over. I'm still watching OCEA. I'll be able to get this back. Don't worry about that. Just look every 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, you're right, Webcoin. I just got to keep flipping back there every couple of minutes. Here we go on NVIDIA. Maybe we start to crack and move back towards the VWAP here. It'd be a 5-point move if we move back towards the VWAP. Grateful to God, very grateful for today's trade. OCA first entry 828, exit 1037. Nice 2-point collection right there. You must have done that fast too. Remaining second exit 1212. Awesome job. So it looks like you're actually scaling out here. Awesome stuff. Awesome way to manage everything. Love seeing the chat move forward here. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Great stuff here, group. Great stuff here. Let's take a look at JNCE. Would we kind of come back in here? Yeah, this kind of broke down. So we had that initial move here. Wasn't really a whole lot. Kind of broken down. We'll see if this sets up. Still watching OCEA here. Lanthus Holdings. Well, this was an earnings play, it looks like. Yep. CBay. Ooh, CBay, nice little volume pop here away from the VWAP. Let's see if there's any news. Sorry, Mike, I must have missed that. That's because of you, Ryan. What did I do now? What am I at fault for now? CBay. All right, let's see if we can actually break above here on CBay. Love this daily formation. Love this daily. This sure looks like this wants to keep going higher here. $8 looks like the near-term stop here, but maybe we end up breaking above this 875. CBay, this is an interesting daily chart here. Up, and look at that. We look to the left, find a potential double top here at 918. I'm actually going to mark that off right now, because in case we get back up here, I want to have that already done. 915. We'll leave it at 915. And it looks like next spot here that we're going to mark is going to be right in here, 1175-ish. Now let's get ready for CBay. This actually might be a decent swing here, CBay. AM ripping. Let's go back and take a look at that. Still waiting OCEA here. AM looks like it was rejected at 6, kind of pulled off that high. We didn't quite get to 6, but it looks like we traded up towards 6, came off that high. Let's see where we end up settling here. I got the VWAP at 540. It's another 28 cents here. We could see this come in a little bit more. That actually might give you an opportunity to take it long on a VWAP bounce. Just Blaze, look, I absolutely love the encouragement here from the chat. You're doing a great job. Good vibes. Much appreciated, my man. I will say, we do this every day, but I was nervous to do this on my own. Mitch at first asked me, hey, Ryan, do you want to just play replays or whatever? I was like, no, man, our community, they want us to be here. We got to be there for them. So stepped outside of my comfort zone, decided to do the whole thing. Really appreciate the kind words. Oh, it's because of me being awesome. Easy, Mike, man. You're too nice to me. Yeah, SRT8, you were mentioning earlier, this comment is a follow-up to one of the comments you were mentioning earlier about using longer time frames. And there's absolutely a place. Again, I know that I focus a lot of what I have here on the 1 and the 5 minute chart, because we're talking about breaks and day trades and all of that. But you're absolutely right. And this is really, really good advice. I probably don't show it as much here when I'm sharing my screen, but I will often use that daily chart, the 15-minute chart. You saw Andy using the 4-hour chart. We use the hourly chart. Mitch loves his hourly chart. So those longer time frames definitely are going to show you some things. Really, 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 really good advice here to use some of. Always look to the left. Always use some of those longer ones. You guys are just, man, you guys are so kind. You're just totally giving me the motivation to keep moving forward here. Absolutely love it. So NEO, again, this was one that Andy mentioned here. This still strong. Still looks like this actually is going to try to make another run at 18. We'll see if we end up breaking through that here. Take a look at the rest of the relative volume scanner. Here's SOUN. Ooh, big knife here. Big knife on SOUN. So let's see what happened here, right? So let's kind of analyze this, and so that we can avoid something like this in the future. So first of all, we actually saw this bounce off of this 405 level. I guess you could call it 4. Really did kind of come in here trade it towards 4. Once we gave up the VWAP, this selling pressure happened fast. Now, it did try to bounce here again at 4, but that was so short-lived, you got another immediate knife. For this, we want to make sure some of these sellers evacuate this before we try playing this again. GGAA, I'm noticing is getting halted again. Holy smokes. What is this? What is Genesis Growth Tech Acquisition Corp? Do we even have information on this? This okay. So this is a SPAC. So this is a no volume SPAC. That's probably just a box job here. If you guys made money off this, awesome. This would be something I stay away from. Let me go back real quick and take a look at what we have here. GMPX. This is another one here that we looked at here today. This really didn't have strength. Really rejected at its VWAP and has continued to break down. We'll see if this bottoms and sets up, but not looking good right now. Neo again. I think that's going to take out that 18. You guys are so nice. We got the best. I say it all the time. We got the best community on the internet, and you guys are proving that to be true every single damn day. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Let's see if there's any. Is there any other stocks that you folks want to take a look at? Let me take a look at that ADI. Right, that was the potential swing that really kind of broke down. Let's see what that's doing here. On the daily chart. Let's go ahead and figure that out. Take a look at IB. If you guys have any tickers that you want to take a look at, go ahead and shout them in the chat. Okay, so interesting thing here on ADI. So remember, as soon as we really broke down on this day, on February 21st, this day invalidated the floating island trade to the upside. So not going to work. Now what it looks like we're doing is it looks like we're bouncing off the top of that gap. So how this candle closes today would be a good indication of what's going to happen. And we actually have a fairly bullish candle here today. Maybe we can actually close above the top side of the candle from yesterday. Maybe you can give that a shot. I'd probably tighten up your stop here, maybe even reduce your size, as this is definitely a more risky trade. We already saw the floating island trade not materialize, not really happen here. So if you're going to try trading this one off of bounce, I suppose that you could, but maybe lower some of your exposure here so that you're not hurt in the event that it doesn't work out. Okay, you guys giving me a whole bunch of stocks here. Let's do it. I'm just going to go right down the list. SMCI going to be your first one here. That is Super Micro Computers. So this one, interesting, right? Definitely looking to break this 95 move here. This has been really strong. I'm definitely skeptical of some of these technology names, but this one been really strong here. Let's take a look at the hourly chart and see what we see here. Okay, sweet. So one of the first things that jumps off to my eye here is that this downtrend, we actually broke that here in the pre-market. So this is a multi-day downtrend. We actually ended up snapping here. And let's see, we're trading right in here at this level. So let's see. I would say I want to see what the next move is from this level. If the next move is up here, maybe we can go towards 100. But if we break back down, we might actually break back down to this trend line. Let's see here on SMCI. Run through. Lisa saying I have a soothing voice. It's not the first time I've got that. Really want to exploit my voice in any way that I can. Palantir. This is another. Oh man, huge breakdown. We want to see. So when you see this intraday, this for me, when I see a stock sell off right out of the open, and then try to bottom and try to bounce, only to immediately meet the next leg down here, that's generally not a good sign. I want to see more of a confirmation here. I would be willing to sit on the sidelines before trying to take a long here if this did flash a buy signal. Unsure where that is. Let's see. This was recently rejected off that 965. Let's see where this finds some support. I would imagine it would try to bounce here at about 8. Your guess is as good as mine. Let's keep watching PLTR. OCEA is open again. Let's check in. Oh my God, 16s, folks. OCEA, this up 236% here today. This is definitely the stock du jour. We gave you the plan here this morning at 687 as the potential buy area. We're now up 10 points. 10 freaking points. Going to halt again here at 1673. It's going to be a 5th consecutive upside halt. 6th consecutive upside halt here if this holds. And it did. We are halted again. Wow. OCEA. Massive strength here today. So at this point now, we are so first of all, if any of you are in this, please make sure that you scale out. If you're going to use trailing stops, awesome way to mitigate your risk. If you're just going to kind of continue to sell into this strength and scale out until you have nothing left, great. You should be able to lock your profits in there. But please make sure that this doesn't come back and evaporate a lot of the unrealized gain that you have. Make sure you realize those gains, please. Okay, you guys give me a ton of stocks. All right, let me just make sure there's nothing. Just Blaze, we will check Donkey Kong here in a sec. Don't worry about that. Actually, Mitch is not here. We can say whatever we want about Donkey Kong. Or DraftKings, I guess I call it Donkey Kong because he did. Boy, look at that move here on OCEA. Just massive move. Okay, Wayfair doesn't have just what you need, it would appear here today. A big move down. Wayfair shares trading lower after the company reported mixed Q4 financial results and reported year-over-year decrease in Q4 active customers and Q4 orders delivered. So we've talked a little bit about the consumer maybe tightening up, especially on some of the bigger ticket items. I would put furniture into that category. I know Wayfair, really popular or really well known for giving really good prices on things. Not all the furniture super expensive, but seems to me like people might be tightening the belt here a little bit. That's one of the things that I've expected going forward. And seeing this report here from Wayfair kind of lends itself to that. Remember, Walmart, we saw trade up because of the grocery, right? So people moving towards cheaper grocery outlets in order to save money. That speaks to the same thing about the consumer tightening its belt. That's going to have longer tracks in some of these other trades here. So Wayfair, not good here. Not even thinking about buying this. Maybe we get a technical signal here on the buy, but to me, I'm more watching this for what's going on with the consumer. Okay, let's check one of the other ones. RXT, stay focused. Wanted to take a look at RXT. I'm going to try to run through these because you guys gave us so many good ones. So RXT, so this actually does look like we're kind of at a bottom. So one of the things that it's trying to do here is just kind of break out of this consolidation zone. I would imagine, boy, and look, this was a really rough trade down, and this is definitely stabilized. So this is what we want to avoid, right? Here was some of your sideways trading right around the 13 handle. We tried to pop, were immediately rejected, and then just kept selling off. This is what we don't want to see. And the problem is that we might actually pop out of this range and get a candle that looks like this one here. If that happens, that's going to suck some buyers in. And if they puke them out on the backside, if you're going to trade this, if we break out of this range, if you like this for the long side, be careful that we don't see this repeat itself. Rackspace Technology shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q4 results. Okay, so dig into that earnings report. Make sure that you understand it. That would be my best advice there. Let's check in on NVIDIA real quick here. NVIDIA 237 up 14.5%. Really strong, really not breaking down. I was saying right here when we traded back in towards 136, maybe this rolls over and trades down. Unable to do that. Looks like it kind of tested the upside of that range again here. Interesting stuff on NVIDIA. We'll keep watching this as well. Let me go through some of the other stocks here. You were saying Dollar General got whacked. Now, again, I'm still watching OCEA. That is definitely the stock du jour here today. I will bring that up as soon as we have the halt. It looks like Dollar General shares are trading lower after the company announced preliminary Q4 and fiscal year 2022 financial results and issued preliminary guidance for fiscal year 23. The company sees Q4 EPS results in a range below estimates. So there's your guide lower there. And guess what? Dollar General getting hit again. Interesting though that the company sees, well, this is a range for the Q4. I wonder if they think this is going to pick up. This Q4 below analyst estimates. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that they're provides preliminary financial guidance for fiscal year 2023. So that not looking good. They did not guide higher here. SPY breaking down here, moving towards that 400. Big pull here on the SPY. Big pull here on the SPY. Okay. It looks like, oh God, I can't cover Nikola. Really, I can't. We can't do that. What's going on with Donkey Kong? Let's take a look at DraftKings. That's of course DKNG. Take a look and see what we're seeing here. Oh, DraftKings, huge breakdown. Ah, man, I can't figure this stock out. I'm definitely in the camp where I think that there is a huge move coming here in DraftKings. I can't figure this out. To me, it looks like the next move here, we're definitely going to this 1840 level, maybe even 18. We're going to close this gap to the downside. That's what I would bet on next. We'll see if we end up holding that and then curling back towards the top. Maybe we can break above 2140 there. We'll see. To me, this definitely looks like this is coming back down. Next move here is down. Here comes the right shoulder drop. Hold on. Will, what stock were you talking about? SPY? I think probably. Yeah, that does look like what you're talking about. And you're right. Apple taking the next leg lower there. Tesla up off the lows, but looking like it's trying to return to those lows. Amazon at lows. Interesting thing here is that the VIX is actually down. VIX down 4.5% here today. Seeing a lot of these names sell off. That seems like a divergence to me. Just waiting for someone to yell timber with Nat Gas here. Man, that has definitely been a confusing one. We thought Nat Gas was going to be higher, just has not materialized. By the way, let's check in on Joby again. Joby unable to break that 5. Looks like it came off that 5 spot. Watch this for later in the afternoon, especially if we get some of these volume pops again in the afternoon. We could easily move from 480 up to 5 and maybe even through 5. JNCE still in that same area. A lap right under 3. Let's take a look at Netflix here. So Netflix continuing its move down here, down 4.5%. See if this bounce holds in here. Going through the chat here. Lalani saying, I almost bought OCEA at 850, but thought it had gone too high. Tried to short it at 10, but not allowed. Thank God. So, okay. So for shorting, so I know I don't short a lot. One of the things I've seen, one of the reasons for that is because I've seen other traders really get hurt, really kind of blow themselves up from shorting. One thing that I have learned about shorting is some of these parabolic movers, do not short them on day one. A lot of times these things take multiple days for the strength to abate and then finally roll back over. Do not short these on day one. I'm super glad, Lalani, that you did not get hurt on that. Of course, you can always cover and get out of that, but with these halts and with as fast as this thing is moving, it was probably very, very difficult. Just be very, very careful. It's one of the reasons why I stay away from shorts. Let's see what else we got here. Looking around, folks. I want to run through some of these. Mosaic looking higher. Okay, we got a conference call. So that looks like that's up on the backs of earnings here. ENVX tries to pop, but we really can't clear that out here. Mixed E4 results. Riley is asking, what software do you use? Riley, what you're seeing on the screen here is Benzinga Pro. This is the main tool that I use. It is not a broker, so you still need a broker. I use TD Ameritrade as my broker, and I use the Thinkorswim platform to actually execute trades. But in terms of idea generation here, following news and using some of those supplemental tools, it is all Benzinga Pro for me. It is what I've been using since 2014. Just the best tool out there, in my opinion. It's not, look, my memory is not great. I will fully admit it. I have a chat list here that I was able to scroll up and take a look at because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. GGAA, is that getting any more crazy? I mean, how could it get more crazy? It's already bananas. 2255. Okay, so it looks like at least we've stopped the vertical move here. OCEA has not stopped that yet. In fact, aren't we due for an open here pretty soon on OCEA? I feel like we are. Oh, and you know what? They have warrants too. How are those warrants doing? Let's check in on those warrants. Warrants up 186%. Okay, another little thing here. For all of you folks that love to play pennies, one of the things that you might be able to do is watch some of these stocks that are putting in some of these crazy moves and then seeing if the stock has associated warrants. You might be able to trade the warrants. OCEA opened here. Let me go to the actual equity. I'll come back and finish this thought here in a sec. Okay, so it opened higher, dipped a little bit, and then immediately pushed higher. And we are going to halt again here at 2039 if this holds. There's definitely a bid building here. Looks like it's going to hold. We are going to have another upside halt, halted again. This is 7. Is this 7 consecutive upside halts here? Absolute monster. Let me go back to the warrant there and finish the thought here. So, okay. So these warrants aren't halted. In fact, let me bring that up in my no. OCAW. Yeah, these warrants not halted. So, okay, just to kind of finish off the thought, one of the things I was saying, I know a lot of you penny players have often said that, well, you like playing them because you're able to leverage your position a little bit more. They're cheaper. You can buy more of it, et cetera, et cetera. Totally get that. I've been there myself. One of the things that you might be able to do here is when you see some of these stocks moving, if they're a higher price than you like, see if they have associated warrants. You can see here the warrants this morning. I mean, I know we gapped up. The warrants this morning were 35 cents around the open. We're currently at 64 cents here on the warrants. And they're actually trying to catch up to the stock, which is now halted, right? So warrants, this might be a way that you can actually capture some of these movements of these stocks that we're seeing by actually trading a cheaper asset. Warrants, I definitely look into what makes a warrant, look into the redemption and how all of that works. If you're just keeping them for a short amount of time, you can essentially just flip it, right? Buy it at a price, sell it at a higher price. You don't necessarily have to worry about that, but that would be the second part of the due diligence that I would recommend that you do. We'll go ahead and take a look here at the actual stock itself. Halted at $20.39. Good Lord. Good Lord. Okay. So Just Blaze, is it too expensive to get in? Look, I am not in the habit of buying things that are up 300%. Like I cannot in good conscience say that, yeah, this could keep going. This would be a great entry point, bro. Like I can't do that. Like that is so irresponsible. Stocks that are up 300%, look for something else. Look for something up, maybe even something in sympathy with Ocean Biomedical here. Please don't make it a habit of chasing things that are up 300%. That is going to get you hurt. So no, I would say I think it's extended here. Extended. Ryan, we appreciate you doing well. What you think about Unity? Let's take a look at Unity here. This has been a popular, not just you. This has been a popular one, fallen out of favor. This is one of those stocks that was really, really beaten down from one of these monster moves here. Now, I don't know if and when we ever get to 200 again, but what I do see here is the same thing that we talked about the last time we took a look at Unity here. And by the way, let me get OCEA on a different screen so I can keep abreast of what's going on. Okay, so this range in here for me is what I'd like to see fall, right? I don't, maybe you could trade it within this range such that if we come to the bottom of this range, maybe, $30 or so, maybe it bounces and trades back up to the 40. You could trade it within that range. But what I want to see for the next move here is, do we break out or do we break down? I would imagine that if the market cooperates, we probably break out, but let's see. I don't necessarily know for sure here. Two choices: trade the breakout or the breakdown if you get it, if and when you get it, or you can actually just trade Unity within this range. I'm pretty sure that this is the company that owns the engine that Escape from Tarkov is built off of, or that runs on. There's definitely some work to be done here to make this engine better, but I think I'd have to actually double check that. I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis here. What's your thought on Tesla by the end of day? Well, at this point, I don't know. I think if the market continues to sell off here, Tesla is going to break the low. So let me get this up. We got Tesla at lows about 198. We're currently trading at 200. So if the market does not cooperate and comes in a little bit more, I expect Tesla maybe to set new lows here today. But that's basically just taking into account the direction of the market. I don't necessarily. When does Tesla report their earnings? That would be the next thing that I want to know. When does Tesla report their earnings? Let's see. Okay, so they're unconfirmed for April 19th. So we still got another month, maybe month and a half before Tesla reports. So we got a good bit here. So no catalyst there. Tesla, I think this is probably going to trade with the market. We are moving towards those lows here on Tesla now. Take a look at the intraday chart. We're kind of rolling over here. All right, let me roll through here. All you need is Benzinga pre-market. I was in OCEA when I read the news pre-market cancer cure on Benzinga, as I always do. MB, love to hear this. We've said this before. All catalysts are not created equal. You're right. When they talk about things like this, cancer is a serious thing. Oh my God, did OCEA just get halted again? It opened. It did, right? It was at 20. This is happening so fast that I'm literally missing the unhalt and the rehalt. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I almost want to see if this does have a downside. I believe that this is 8 upside halts in a row now. 8. Yeah, so just OCA. Yeah, holy. Okay, so the chat here. Okay. I see some great stuff here. Voodoo, good morning. Good morning. I know you're saying good morning to Beach Bum, but I'm going to sidle that. Good morning. Hope that you're doing well here today. Yeah, low float cancer cure. You're right, MB. Low float cancer, things like that. Man, just absolute monster. Okay, this one of the better comments of the day here today, and that's saying something because the comments today have been fantastic. Easy Mike saying OCEA. That's not how any of this works, guys. I cannot stress how correct Easy Mike is here. This is not normal behavior. Please do not get into the habit of thinking that this is normal behavior. As MB just outlined, we have a low float stock talking about potential cancer. Maybe cure is the wrong word here. Potential cancer treatment with good data. That is going to fire up a lot of these stocks. Now, a stock moving up 388% in the first, portion of the morning here. I mean, the market opened an hour and 15 minutes ago, and we're up 383% here. This is not normal, and don't think that this is normal, because if you start ingraining this as being normal behavior, what's inevitably going to happen is you're going to get absolutely slapped around when this doesn't happen, and that is likely. It's likely that this is not the norm. So I completely agree here, Easy Mike. This is not how this works normally. If you're along for the ride, please make sure you don't give up gains. Do not. Also, as an important lesson here, we're just getting asked about who was that earlier. See, my memory is not great. See, now I can't even remember. Just Blaze. Just Blaze. Is it too expensive to get on here? I mean, don't have FOMO. Like, you've missed this move. If you've missed this move, Andy talked about it earlier, right? If you've missed this move, that's okay. You are going to be able to find another move in the future. The market's going to be open tomorrow. There are going to be other runners. There are going to be other stocks that are going to present opportunities. So do not try to be a hero and try to chase something that is up 400%. I don't want to see anyone get their account wrecked. Booglog, what are your thoughts on Nikola long-term? Dude, Nikola, I'm pretty sure that this is a fraud. I don't have any good long-term thoughts on this. I think that this likely goes to zero. Maybe I'm wrong. I would not invest this for the long term. Yeah, Joe, I agree with this too. It's going to be a play for today and tomorrow because there's nothing better to trade. Yeah, you got that right. I mean, when people see these types of eye-popping numbers, it's hard to look elsewhere, right? It's like, I want a piece of that. Like, that's a normal feeling. I wouldn't fault anybody for feeling that way. Totally a normal feeling. But again, we've got to do the things that keep us protected. Your goal as a trader shouldn't be, how am I going to earn my Lambo today? It should be, how am I going to protect my capital? And if you wait for good setups, inevitably you're going to be able to grow that capital, and that's going to be sustainable. If you hit some of these moves along the way, cool, great, congratulations, good stuff. But don't be expecting this. Don't be waiting for this. Don't be expecting this as the norm. It's not the case. Maybe GM could grab Nikola. Yeah, so that's a good point, Quantum. Maybe there is a process or a piece of technology or a piece of intellectual property over there that another company wants. They end up buying the company out. It doesn't go to zero. That's a really good counterpoint. And maybe I should have said that as a potential outcome for Nikola. But that's not guaranteed either. And, that you might be able to kind of sniff that out through rumors and stuff, especially on if you're reading up on news. Okay. SRT8 saying, I don't chase anything without technical being involved. All trades are based on support and resistance. Good. That is how you're going to really, really keep yourself safe. Okay. So Booglog. So there you go. So you're thinking this might be acquired. So I wish you would have just led with that, because I do agree with you. I think that maybe there is a possibility. Here's the thing, though. I have no inclination that that's going to happen right now. None. OCEA is open. Before it halts again, let's check it out. Up to 26.56 and halting again. I mean, we're up 452% today. I'm running out of words. I am running out of words. I'm running out of words. Okay, W, I'm sorry for picking on you. I am not going to be able to check stocks if you completely butcher my name. My name is not Rhea. So, again, not picking on you. I will check the stocks, but you got to get my name right. You said suspended. Did we get another? Here, let me see. No, see, we just got the volatility halt. So this is expected to open again in 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm not, maybe I was, Byron, maybe you were referring to something else and I just missed it. That's totally possible here, but it looks like this was just a volatility halt. W. Thoughts on Pan W? Yeah, so we actually already covered Pan W. This is best in breed for cybersecurity. This I do actually like long term. I just from the way that I end up trading, I would say, try to add this a little bit lower. Let me actually, I'm going to leave that column on, just kind of shorten this up. I actually try to add this on pullbacks. I like this for the long term. I think eventually we break this top and maybe go towards 200 and above, but we might actually fill this. So interestingly, we didn't pull back enough on this for this to be an island trade. I mean, I guess you could always try some now, but let's see what we get here. I do like this. I like this company. I like the stock long term. It's been a best in breed for a long time. So definitely like Pan W, but don't see any new position here today. Wally, now I feel like a jerk. I use voice commands. I'm sorry, man. That's not how I'm really sorry. I feel like an ass for saying that. However, that can happen with that. Let's check in on AM. Now it makes sense, right? Your AM was A period, M period. That makes complete sense. Again, sorry about that. I will keep that in mind when you're actually requesting some of these. So please forgive me. Let's take a look at AM because this was on the list here. Now, remember, one of the things that we talked about here was this break above 456, which we did get here today. That was already labeled here. We actually took the next leg up here. Again, in concert with the good volume here, it does look like it's kind of slowing down here. Let's see if it actually is able to break above 6. That would be it. Let's take a look at the daily chart and see what some of the next upside targets are. So, okay, given if we do break above 6, 765 looks like that. Let's go ahead and mark this because I don't think this is going to be the last day this is on the scanner. 780, 785 thereabouts. This could be the next big spot here. You're likely to have some type of regression to the mean or some type of resistance before then. But the next big level here looks to be like 783. I don't know much about like its portfolio and its long-term prospects and its pipeline and all that. That would be the next thing to check out, but that's going to require some digging. I wouldn't be able to do that here on the show. All right, let's take oh my God, SPY. You're right. Let's take a look at SPY. Sorry, I had that off the screen here. Appreciate you guys. Lilani, there will be another one. There will be another one. And if you come back here, we will keep trying to get it. We will keep trying to find them for you here. All right. Let's see. Going at lows now. Ryan, pull up SPY. All right. Oh, Sabrina, good question here real quick. PanW versus Fortinet. Appreciate the thoughts since you're a computer eye. I like PanW more than Fortinet. Fortinet, I will say I don't have a whole lot of hands-on experience with the product, so take that with a grain of salt. I would say, read about it and do some due diligence elsewhere as well. Don't just go off mine, but I like PanW more, probably because I'm more connected to the market, and PanW has been such a strength. One thing I will say is I'm seeing more and more Fortinet logos on golf shirts of professional golfers, so they're definitely trying to expand their advertising. Something to keep in mind. Okay. Your self-chatting is great, man. I feel nervous and I feel like I'm rambling. So the fact that you're saying it's great is a huge confidence booster. Really appreciate that. And again, I apologize if I'm rambling too much. I am trying to slow it down, but man, that's tough. Okay, SPY here, moving towards those lows. You were absolutely right. Now, the next thing here, so we're under 400. We're actually right. We talked a little bit about some of the pivot points earlier. We're actually right at the pivot point right here at 399, excuse me. If we do break beneath this here, the next thing we're going to be looking for is this 397. If the selling accelerates, I would hope that this would at least find some support at yesterday's intraday low. Unsure if that's going to happen though. And if this breaks, we could see even more selling as that continues. So we'll see. Richard, I'll see you later. We'll be around. We will definitely be around later. Have a good one, man. Have a great day here. Interesting. Webcoin saying AM trades options. I find that stocks with options move more normally and don't run without a pause. Interesting. That gives me something to watch. I have not noticed that. By the way, aren't we due for a resumption here on OCEA soon? Could have sworn we're due for a resumption here pretty soon. There it is. Oh, no. No. Yeah. Ooh, interesting. So this was supposed to resume and it didn't. Maybe it did get suspended. Is that what you guys were saying? I don't see any news for that. I don't see any news for that. 3 more minutes. Okay, so it was a 10-minute. Oh, look who it is. Buddy, did you decide to join here? Where's Shelly? Is she gone? She's probably gone, right? You want to say something to the group here? No, you just want to go after my tea? That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. My lap's not a good idea either. We got a lot going on here today. I'm gonna mark the microphone. Look at this cat. All right, buddy. All right. You just hit a key on the keyboard. That's why I don't use hotkeys, by the way. Don't need the cat trading. I have enough trouble trading myself. Oh my God, that scared the bejesus out of me. What a week, gifted so many tickers. And guess what? It's not even over yet, Crow. It's only Thursday. It's only Thursday. We're going to have more tomorrow, I'm sure. Marie, really appreciate you're doing great. We appreciate you being here for us. I appreciate the support that you all give me. You folks are all so nice. Really appreciate that. Buddy appreciates it too. All right. Let's see. Easy Mike, have your guys throw TDOC on their radar. Might have some more room to the downside. Could retest a low of 2160. See what they think. We'll take a look at that here in our community too. Voodoo, appreciate you shouting this out here. TDOC, you're basically saying this might come in a little bit more towards the 2160 level. Let's see if we can identify that here on the chart. I'm going to zoom in here, 2160. That's going to be the bottom here. Sure looks like this is going to try and retest as we move back down here. This is a pretty steep move here today, down 13%. Weak guidance, man, Teledoc. Maybe there is some more downside here. This would have been a amazing short from 300. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Ask Buddy about Cat. Buddy, what do you think about Cat? What do you think about Caterpillar? What do you think about Caterpillar? You don't seem enthused at all. I don't know. Webcoin, I don't know. He's grabbing my shirt. I don't know what he thinks about Caterpillar. He didn't give anything about that. Lion. All right. Let's see what Lion is doing. Thank you, Crow. I'm like, is this another SPAC that's up 100%? Another huge halt fest here on Lion? This has got to be a SPAC, right? Sabrina, that's good advice. And you're right, I should do that. AMAM virtual presentation tomorrow about the results of the breast cancer and prostate cancer patients. Okay, so you actually might get some more movement out of AMAM. So what was that, W? You were asking me earlier about that. Keep that in mind. Nice shout here. Excuse me. It was Wally. I keep getting your names mixed up. I think I've interchanged your names as well. By the way, OCEA open here. This is going to halt to the downside. God, that was fast, folks. That was fast. Halted to the downside here. OCEA volatility trading. We're scheduled to open up in 5 minutes. So this is going to say 5 minutes. We'll see if we get a 5 or a 10-minute halt. I know, was it Crow? You were asking what the difference is with those? I'm actually not sure why there's the difference. They're both for volatility. Yeah. So anyway, with this AM, good shout here, Lop. Virtual presentation. My only follow-up question, is that open? Can anyone sign up for that? If anyone can sign up for that, all of you AM traders might want to check this out here. Again, based on that, I will sell Caterpillar. Thanks, buddy. I hope that trade works out for you. He does take tips in the form of fish-based cat food. Keep that in mind. Actually, all jokes aside here, Caterpillar does look like a weak chart intraday here. It looks like it's rolling over here. This has been really, really strong, though. So if I were playing this to the short side, I would definitely probably be apt to take my gains if the trade works for me. I don't really think this is going to have a monster fall on Caterpillar. I really don't. Man, JNCE, this really didn't do much of anything today, did it? Really just kind of hung out at this 120 area. Gave us that one move early, but that was it. Oh, Matterport. This was a AI metaverse play. It just hasn't gone well. Let me check out the chat here. Cat right now at support resistance. Brandon's asking, did you look at Coke? Is that a joke because I was talking all fast? No, you're actually asking about. So this is Coca-Cola Consolidated. The other Coke company is going to be KO, right? This is the Coca-Cola company. Yeah, this is the actual stock. No, I haven't looked at Coke. I've never traded Coke either. Okay, folks, it is 11 o'clock here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I really appreciate all of you hanging out with me today. What monster moves we saw here today. Lion, OCEA, GGAA, tons of stuff to cover. We're going to be back at this again tomorrow. I hope to have Mitch back, but even if we don't, I will be back here tomorrow for you. Have a great one. We will see you. Be safe. Be careful with these plays if you end up taking them, and we'll send you over to the next broadcast. Take care.